Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
are you?
Good. I don't know, it's really hot outside.
The Radio ISD feels it is important for you to know these simple steps that can assist with saving someone's life. Step 1. Make sure the scene is safe and check the person for a response. Step 2. Call 911 or dedicate someone to call 911 and get an AED if one is available. Step 3. Start compressions. Push hard and fast in the center of the chest at a rate of 100 beats per minute, which is equal to the song Staying Alive.
Regular board meeting, Thursday, May 16th. It's 5:30 at the Amber Year Boardroom. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Hector Garcia.
Present.
Mr. Hector Noyola. Here. Mr. Ricardo Garza is here. Mr. Jose Valdez. Present. Mrs. Cecilia Valley. Dr. Silvia Moreno. Present. Mrs. Monica Garcia.
Present.
Ms. Valley's here. Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Garcia and LISD board members. Dr. Rios, may I begin with our veterans recognition?
Please.
Yes, thank you. Tonight, the LISD Board of Trustees is proud to recognize Mr. Dwayne L. Lewis, who served his country for 22 years as a pilot in the United States Air Force. Here's a video of Mr. Lewis created by the Instructional Television Department. Lights, please. Thank you, Mr. Gomez.
In this installment of our ongoing series, we honor Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Lewis, a family man, a rancher, a pilot, and a veteran of the United States Air Force. Mr. Lewis was born in Des Moines, Iowa, and was raised there until he decided to volunteer his service at the age of 19. He served in the United States military from 1953 until 1975.
I was assigned to Laredo as part of my training, and I loved Laredo. I thought Laredo was, was kind of a secret gem because I had such a wonderful time here. I also met my wonderful wife, and who was Marcelin Sanchez.
Mr. Lewis was assigned to and moved to 19 different locations during his military service. This included flying F-100s over Korea. He returned to Laredo towards the end of his military career.
To finish up my career, I spent another 3 years at Laredo Air Force Base, flying T-38s, and so which was, of course, that supersonic airplane that I dearly loved. And so that was kind of the culmination of my career. This was in the early 70s, and I retired to my ranch here just south of Ensenada.
Mr. Lewis is very thankful to the Air Force because of the educational opportunities it afforded him.
It happened to be a wonderful opportunity for me because not only did I get a lot of education, but they also trained me to fly, and I was a jet pilot at the age of 19. Education, in my opinion, is a secret to long-term success.
He and his family believe so much in the value of education that they decided to make a big contribution to the community of Laredo.
A number of years ago, Lewis Energy Group, which is my employer, and my son is the president and CEO, donated to Laredo Junior College, Laredo Community College, now Laredo College, a academic building that stands right there at Fort McIntosh. I can't emphasize just how strongly I feel about education. I felt strongly because I was a relatively poor family, not real poor, but anyway, we didn't have much money and didn't have an opportunity to go to college otherwise, and so I felt like I needed that education. As a result of going to the military, benefiting and serving my country and feel good about it. I was able to spend 22 years in the Air Force, which was very good to me, and I'm proud of that service. Another 22 years working for Laredo National Bank, a second career, and then lo and behold, I get a third career with Lewis Energy Group. I'm executive vice president with assistant in management of this company. How many people have an opportunity to have 3 careers in their lifetime? And I attribute a lot of that to education.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Lewis. LISD salutes you for your service to our country.
When I fly that plane, call the angel flight. Got a hero riding with us tonight.
Mr. Hector Flores, who teaches biology at Lara Academy, was first runner-up in the recent Golden Apple Awards ceremony hosted by the Alpha Delta Kappa. Mr. Flores has been a teacher for 19 years, and accompanying him tonight is Angel Ramos, also of FS Lara Academy. Congratulations, Mr. Flores. Very proud of you. Tonight, we are also recognizing the winners of the School Bell Awards presented by the Laredo Chamber of Commerce. The three winners from LISD include the following. From Ryan Elementary School, Miss Nancy Torres. Accompanying Ms. Torres is Ryan Vice Principal, Ms. Leticia Martinez. And Ms. Torres is the Golden Apple Elementary School Teacher of the Year for LISD. From Kristen Middle School, our middle school School Bell Award winner, we have Ms. Marta Trevino. And our high school School Bell Award winner is Mr. John R. Ryman of the Vidal M. Trevino School of Communications and Fine Arts. Mr. John Ryman. And now we also would like to honor LISD's Teachers of the Year. These two outstanding educators were honored recently at our annual banquet. Please help me congratulate Ms. Angelica Di Paola of J.C. Martin Elementary School. Also joining Ms. Di Paola up front is J.C. Martin Principal, Mr. Escalante, and our Assistant Superintendent for CNI, Dr. Jerry Cruz. Please join us forward. We also have Ms. Mirtala Ramirez, our Director of Elementary Education. Our Secondary School Teacher of the Year from Martin High School, Ms. Josefina Sarazua. Also here from Martin High School is our principal, Mr. Guillermo Pro, and Mr. Israel Castilla, our Director of Secondary Education. Both Ms. Di Paola and Ms. Sarasua will now be representing LISD at the Region 1 Teacher of the Year program contest. Congratulations. And you might know that this is Law Enforcement Week, and so we take time to honor the LISD Police Department for their sacrifices in protecting and serving the LISD community. Throughout the years, the police department has initiated various educational and prevention programs for students, such as the Books and Badges program, DARE, Police Explorers, truancy boot camps, and internships for high school criminal justice students. Here representing the LISD Police Department are Chief Roberto Villarreal, along with investigator Ana Munoz, please come forward, Sergeant Ernesto Camarillo, Sergeant Antulio Garza, Sergeant Deborah Sepulveda, and Sergeant Eric Villarreal. Also, our Assistant Superintendent for School Safety and Compliance, Mr. Oscar Perez. Thank you for keeping our schools safe. Next, LISD is proud of our Health Services Department. Our school nurses go above and beyond all expectations. They ensure that all students have their vaccines and screenings up to date and that they're compliant with state requirements. They provide daily guidance to parents and students on how to manage a chronic illness. And in the blink of an eye, they rush to respond to an emergency on campus. And sometimes they have to make split decisions to save somebody's life. They are the only licensed healthcare professionals on campus and are an essential part of the LISD team. Representing the Health Services Department are LISD Health Services Coordinator, Ms. Grace Lopez, and the following nurses. Ms. Maggie Martinez, our Assistant Superintendent for Student Services, will join us up front. From Memorial Middle School, we have Ms. Leticia Ramos, Health Assistant. We also have Susana Guevara, registered nurse, 19 years as a school nurse, and she's at Tarver Elementary. Ms. Esperanza Martinez, registered nurse, 23 years as a nurse, and she works at Garcia Early College High School. Ms. Iris Herrera, RN, 11 years as a school nurse, the nurse at Cigarroa High School. Thanks for keeping our kids feeling well and healthy. At this time, LISD is pleased to honor and recognize the title sponsors of our first annual Scholarship Golf Tournament that was held recently at the Max Mandel Municipal Golf Course. Thanks to our title sponsors and over 100 golfers, we'll have scholarships for our students pursuing higher education. Serving as title sponsors, our first one is La Posada Hotel, represented tonight by their general manager, Hector Tito Garcia. Also serving as one of our title sponsors is Line Decker Construction, represented tonight by Mr. Rourke Melendez, who also happened to be one of our tournament winners. And we also had as title sponsors Laurel Insurance. So we would like to thank also our friends at Laurel Insurance, Robert Laurel, Tina Cerda, and Blas Martinez. So thank you so much. We also appreciate our hole-in-one sponsors from Powell Watson Motors and Toyota of Laredo. We would like to publicly thank Powell Watson owner-operator Jonathan Watson Jr., Zachary Powell, Joe Herrera, and Powell Watson's Director of Marketing, Mr. Norbert Bonilla. We thank you for all your support. Thank you very much. And now LISD would like to acknowledge our most hardworking and dedicated parents who volunteered hundreds of hours at our campuses. These parents have given their time at the schools as parent chaperones on field trips. They've created bulletin boards, they've answered phone calls, copied materials, monitored students, assisted with small group activities, set up library displays, and helped at concession stands. The district wants to congratulate tonight our top 6 volunteers. So we'll begin with Mary Bell Mendiola of Ryan Elementary School, who had 2,025 hours helping at Ryan. Accompanying Mary Bell is our Vice Principal for Ryan, Leticia Martinez, and our Parent Liaison, Ms. Lillian Swisher. Ms. Pat Campos, of course, please join us up front. Where is she? There she is. Thank you, Ms. Pat. And also Ms. Maggie Martinez. Ms. Campos is our coordinator for family engagement, parental involvement. The next parent has 2,073 hours volunteering at both Leindecker Elementary School and Kristen Middle School, and her name is Mary Carmen Reina. Oh no, Miss Alicia Martinez. Alicia Martinez. Alicia Martinez with 2,073 hours, and joining her is parent liaison from Leindecker, Mary Carmen Reina, and I believe the principal from Leindecker, Ms. Oviedo. And also from Kristen, yes. And along with Ms. Oviedo, we have Vice Principal, Mr. Jorge Silva, and also the parent liaison from Kristen Middle School. Jessica Garza is the parent liaison. And also Ms. Cantu from Kristen Middle School. Thank you, Ms. Alicia Martinez, for volunteering at 2 of our schools. Wow, pretty good. Tres? Third one? And now we have from Cigarroa Middle School, Ms. Lily Rivera, who has 2,141 hours. Lily Rivera, I hope you're here. And joining her is the parent liaison from Cigarroa Middle, who's Marta Castro. There you are. Hi, Ms. Castro. And the principal from Cigarroa Middle, Mr. Jose Cerda. This is Lily Rivera. From DDHR Elementary School, we have Fermin Torres with 2,200 hours of volunteering time at DDHR Elementary School. The parent liaison at DDHR Elementary School is Ms. San Juanita Bondoc, and the principal is Cindy Villarreal. And Ms. Bondoc and Ms. Villarreal, you might as well stay there because the next winner is also from DDHR Elementary School. With 2,225 hours, we have Emma Martinez. And our top parent volunteer for this school year, for the second year in a row, we are proud to recognize Maria Isabel Estavane of DDHR Elementary School. Miss Maria Isabel Estavane has a whopping 2,250 hours of volunteering at DDHR Elementary School. And now we would like to recognize Cigarroa High School students Raimundo Rodriguez and Kevin Hernandez, who have been selected to serve on the 2019-2020 Texas Youth Preparedness Council. Joining Raimundo and Kevin are Cigarroa High School Assistant Principal Matias Hidrogo and their teacher, Mr. Rick Flores. As council members, Raimundo, and Kevin will receive emergency response training, leadership development, and planning skills that will allow them to lead and strengthen preparedness efforts in our school and community. This summer, they get to attend a Texas Youth Preparedness Camp sponsored by FEMA, and they will be receiving training and also certification. This includes hands-on lessons in fire safety, basic first aid, search and rescue, incident command system, and disaster psychology. You have to come back and teach us. And now we would like to honor 3 orchestras for consistently winning sweepstakes with their beautiful sounds. Please help me welcome the Cigarroa Middle School Orchestra under the direction of Ms. Alma Garcia. Also joining us is our Director of Fine Arts, Mr. David Garza, and Ms. Maggie Martinez. And their principal, Mr. Jose Cerda. Also, one of their directors, Mr. Tomas Aguilar. The Cigarroa Middle School Orchestra has won sweepstakes and top ratings for 14 years in a row. That's pretty good. And now we would like to recognize the Cigarroa High School Orchestra under the direction of Mr. Tomas Aguilar for having 13 years of consecutive sweepstakes ratings. A total of 15 years. Representing the orchestra are juniors Juan Capetillo and Ruben Montoya. Mr. Capetillo plays cello in the Toro Orchestra and guitarron with the Mariachi Azteca. And Ruben Montoya plays viola in the Toro Orchestra and violin with the Mariachi Azteca. And they will both be traveling this summer to the University of Texas at Austin to compete at the Texas State Solo and Ensemble Contest because they are all region orchestra members, and Ruben earned first chair in the viola section. And now we're going to recognize the J.W. Nixon High School Orchestra, who also won sweepstakes and received the top rating. From Nixon High School, we have their director, Mr. Enrique Alvarez, with support from Juan Gerardo Sosa. And also from Nixon High School, their assistant principal, Mr. Miguel Chapa. The students representing the Nixon Orchestra are Rolando Gaitan and Andrew Roberts. Next we have the Hector J. Garcia Early College High School for the 5th year in a row. U.S. News and World Report in their 2019 Best High School Rankings named Garcia Early College as one of the best high schools in the nation. Garcia Early College was named the 94th best high school in the entire nation and number 8 in the state of Texas. So if you'll please join us up front, Mr. Isnaola, teacher Ms. Lizzie Mendive and Ms. Effie Maldonado, Mr. Israel Castilla and Dr. Cruz, please join us up front. And also their school nurse. U.S. News collects data from schools all over the country. They're ranked on school quality, college readiness, math and reading proficiency, math and reading performance, and graduation rates. And next we have the Martin High School varsity baseball team. The Tiger team were the by-district finalists in District 29 5A with overall records of 13, 15, and 1 and a district record of 5 and 7. Representing the team tonight are Coach Jorge Tijerina and team captains. The team captains are Jesus Escalante, Abelardo Cortez, and Edgar Hernandez, along with our athletic director, Ms. Silvia Barrera. Go Tigers! And now we're very proud to honor two of the state's top runners who competed and excelled in the UIL Class 5A and 6A track and field state championships this past weekend in Austin. First, we have from Nixon High School senior long-distance runner Miss Alexa Rodriguez, who is the only Laredoan to earn a state berth in 2 divisions. Alexa competed in the 3,200 meter run and finished in 6th place. And with her tonight is her coach, Juan Tobias. And their vice principal, Mike Chapa. Such a great kid. And I believe Alexa is off to run for Western Colorado State University next year, right? We'll miss you. Yes. We'll miss you, but we wish you the best, ma'am. Next up, we have Martin High School senior long-distance runner Miguel Escamilla. Mid-distance runner, okay? He becomes the first LISD track athlete to break the city record in the 800-meter run. Miguel earned his first berth at the state meet and competed in the 800-meter run, and he finished in 5th place. Joining him today is his coach, Juan Garza, and we also have, who else is here? And his parents, please come forward, yes. We'll take it. Yes, And also joining us is athletic coordinator from Nixon, Mr. Antonio Villalon. We're very proud of Miguel and Alexa, and we wish you all the best. Come back and visit us. And with that, we conclude tonight's board recognitions. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Oh. I'm sorry. Nobody signed up? Board communication, you wanna, board communication, you wanna start on this side? Monica? Do you have anything to say? Dr. Moreno?
Yes,
It's not the report yet.
communication.
Yeah, at the end, at the beginning, or the end?
No, right now.
Okay,
The regular communication is,
okay.
so I just want to say we're coming to an end at the end of another school year, and it's been. Okay. We're coming to the end of another school year, and it's been a year of successes. We have seen gains in the academic performance of many of our students. We know many more students are reading books and realizing the pleasure reading brings. And our emphasis on student participation continues to give us quality gains. Our gains are the result of quality teaching, quality leadership, and high expectations of all employees, our parents, and our students. This is the time to say thank you for doing your very best, and thank you for making a difference in the lives of so many students. As students are promoted to a higher grade, and as graduations take place, we have much to be thankful for. Have a great summer.
Thank you very much, that was nice. Mr. Noyola?
I would also like to congratulate and thank all LISD personnel for their hard work and dedication during this school year. Our success level is evident. Thank you.
Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir. I'd like to echo what Dr. Moreno said. We're coming towards the end of the school year, and reflecting of what we've done over the past 9 months, it is evident that the fruits of our labor are paying off, are coming through. I'd like to thank all the teachers out there. Belated happy Teacher Appreciation Week and happy Police Appreciation Week also. I'd like to thank everybody for doing the work that you do, and I look forward to looking over what we accomplished this year revising what we did and what we accomplished and working on the things that we fell short on over the summer so that we can prepare for the following year. Thank you for everything you do.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for all their hard work throughout the year. I'm very happy with the performance of the students, the teachers, administrators. This is the last pool of the year. I know we can do it. Congratulations to everyone who has succeeded as teachers, administrators, as students in the athletics department, music, art, and any sport. Congratulations to everybody. I hope everybody has a safe summer and comes back re-energized.
Thank you very much. Mr. Valdez?
Well, I'd like to, I'm addressing the board. I'd like to say that I'm very proud of the people who were recognized today, not only the students, but also Mr. Lewis. He is quite an example of somebody who, during his youth, struggled and worked hard and went out there and served his country. And then, as he went into private business, he shares with the community. He serves, he shares. That's quite an example. I hope that it's an inspiration to many of the students that were here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I just want to echo what everybody else said, and very nice words. I want to thank the nurses, police department, and all the teachers of our district. I know they're celebrating their week. We should celebrate them all the time, have them in our hearts and our prayers, because they are the ones that educate our youth. They're the ones that take care of our kids, and they're the ones that safeguard our kids from anything that's out there. So everybody has their role, and everybody does an outstanding job. I also want to thank Veronica and her staff for really heading up the golf tournament. They did an outstanding job, and to raise money for people for our kids. And it takes a lot of work and dedication, and she did not hesitate when was asked to do this, and she went full force. Thank you for your hard work and your dedication, and anything that we do for our district, you're always the first one to say, I'll lead, and thank you for all of that. I do also I want you all to keep your prayers for Bobby Trevino. He had surgery. He's doing great. Hopefully he'll be back soon, but he's in San Antonio resting very well, and I know that he's thinking about all of you and my neighbor, so keep tabs of him. And that's it. Thank you very much again. Committee meetings, Dr.
Yes.
Okay, Moreno.
The CNI committee meeting. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on Tuesday, May 7th in the Amber Yuri boardroom. The first item reviewed was the STAR results for the first administration of reading and mathematics for grades 5 and 8th. District level results of different performances in each state performance standard were highlighted. In a comparison report of 5th grade district performance compared to the region and the state performance, LISD was very strong. LISD had the least percent of students below the passing standard and the highest percent of students in the approaches, the meets, and the master's level. A similar comparison at the 8th grade level did not have the same results. LISD administration recognizes the strong gains made by 8th grade students as a comparison to previous year performance and will continue to work on strengthening the overall performance of middle school students. The Office of Assessment and Accountability presented the results of Benchmark 2 in Algebra, Biology, and U.S. History. Disaggregated results yielded results for special education students, bilingual ESL students, and all students. Comparison reports for previous year performance were studied. The Federal Programs Accountability System, known as the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA, was presented in detail. The importance of the Accelerated Reader Program was highlighted. We look forward to additional detailed reports, including information on the number of students reaching the Million Words Read Club. There is an expectation that the AR goals for all subgroups be reviewed and adjusted for expected gains. An update on the progress being made on the curriculum writing project was presented. Teachers selected to serve on the curriculum writing committee at their initial meeting. Schedules and planning information has been distributed. Early college high schools and early college academies presented the results of spring recruitment. Each college parent meeting, early college parent meetings are taking place in the month of May. Details of the LISD Summer Student Internship Program were shared, as was the Summer Professional Development Program. The CNI Committee continues to play a critical role in the identification of strengths and weaknesses of the instructional program and in maintaining high expectations of all students. The committee agenda also serves as an excellent training opportunity for assistant principals. That concludes my
Thank you.
program.
Mr. Garza?
Our Student Services Committee meeting consisted of AD's report on the number of students participating in all athletic programs from the elementary level to the high school level. By the way, the committee is headed by Ms. Maggie Martinez, Assistant Superintendent for Student Services, and we heard from our athletic director, Ms. Silvia Barrera. In this report, we not only spoke about the number of students participating at all athletic programs across the school district, we also talked about and discussed the evaluation of all our coaches, assistant coaches, and at the elementary level, the same thing. As of this past week, a review and evaluation of all the coaches has been done, and whatever changes are needed are going to be made, and those that are taking it to the next level will remain. Obviously, we are concerned, and obviously we push and strive for the best for our kids, and this is no exception. And I'd like to thank Coach Barrera and Maggie for doing such a wonderful job in that aspect. Aside from that, we had our meeting with our counselors department. We had a review of all the programs that are going on at that level with counselors across the school district, and where we stand on credit, and all the credits for graduation and things of that nature. Moving over to the technology department, our assistant superintendent for technology, Dan Manoa, was there together with Ms. Brenda Sepulveda. In this meeting, we discussed a summary of the 2019 Region 1 Student by Student Technology and Leadership Conference held April 5th, 2019 in McAllen, Texas. Over 20 regions participated with over 752 students in attendance. A student from Nixon High School and Sabas Perez Engineering Magnet School presented a congressional lab challenge winning entry amongst 43 other present students. Student representatives from all the comprehensive high schools will be invited to attend and present in the upcoming school year. The 2019 STEAM Innovation Summer School Academy Initiative was presented. It is projected that 720 students will be engaged in these kinder to 12th grade summer programs, focusing on programming, design, and web development, and a variety of other creative opportunities. The summer technology professional development opportunities were delineated for the months of June and July 2019. Courses were created in response to district and campus's teachers' needs. Over 520 participants are projected to attend the various courses throughout the 6 weeks of engaging trainings. Credit hours obtained will count for the 1920 school year. An update on the district's online registration counts were provided. Data demonstrated that campuses are being proactive in having their students register prior to the summer months. An increase of over 30% was noted for the elementary campuses, and an increase of over 17% was noted for the secondary campuses. Registration will continue through August 2019. A timeline was set for 2019 elementary teachers' laptop deployment was presented. It was discussed that after receiving the funding required to purchase these laptops in April, elementary teachers will be issued a new Dell Latitude 2 in one laptop by July 2019. The following procurement items were part of this committee. Estimated EST group for for computer system integration and automation, and Scantron Corporation for optical mark reader software and maintenance. And that is all. Thank you.
Anybody?
The Accountability, Compliance, and School Safety Committee met on Monday, May 6th, and we talked about teacher certification. We have some teachers who already completed the ESL certification, so congratulations to them. We're very happy. However, we do have some teachers who are pending not only passing the test, but some of them have not even attempted the test. We talked about a waiver for some of these teachers. However, we are concerned on issuing waivers just to all the teachers who haven't passed the test, because if they haven't even attempted or attended the prep sessions, we don't know that they will qualify for a waiver. We're looking into that. The district is providing sessions to prepare for this exam and a software, with self-paced tutorials. So our teachers have all the equipment that they need, all the resources, so we hope they take advantage of that. We talked about teacher recruitment. Our human resources is doing an excellent job recruiting teachers, and the district will host a job fair on May 27 at Lamar Middle School. Teacher attendance, we have 26 teachers with perfect attendance. Congratulations, and I think so far their name still in the hat for the end of the year raffle, so good luck to all of them. We did, in that, we also talked about the cost to the district for substitute teachers, and right now, so far for this year, we're over $2 million already on the cost of substitute teachers. We were happy to hear that the number of incidents in secondary campuses has decreased compared to last year's. Also, the out-of-school suspensions and in-school suspensions has decreased from last year. So congratulations to all the students, teachers, and administrations for collaborating on this. We had a report on the student code of conduct for next year, and I believe that all the suggestions from the campuses have been reviewed, considered, and we have a final draft of the student code of conduct. We discussed the visitor management procedures that we have in our campuses, and we addressed some concerns and made suggestions to improve the safety of our students and employees. For example, using color-coded tags, making sure that all the visitors are scored throughout the campuses, and trying to develop some kind of system so that the response time in case of an incident is reduced. Our perfect attendance has increased this year compared to last year, and our district attendance decreased, but it was very minimal. We're still in the 90%. We talked about a memorandum of understanding with the Children's Advocacy Center, and this memorandum of understanding is in order to support better communication and better services for a student in case that there's incidents reported, and making sure that the investigation follows through. We have a memorandum of understanding with the City of Laredo. We now have a final draft, and this memorandum with the City of Laredo is to work together with the police department so that we're part of the Real-Time Crime Center. This initiative will benefit our students, our employees, to make sure that we have better safety at our schools. So thank you, Chief Villarreal and our attorney, Mr. Perez, for working with the City of Laredo to get this final draft and make it a success. We had a report on the visit from TEA, and we're happy to report that all the findings needing attention have been resolved. So thank you to everyone who participated. And the district intends to submit an attendance waiver for Nixon High School due to a safety concern on April 26th, where the attendance was 76.98, which was more than 10% lower than last year, so we qualify for that waiver. And that's practically it.
Thank you very much. Monica?
Yes, the Health Insurance Committee met on April the 25th. Laredo and Associates had a representative from Blue Cross present. At this time, we are still looking for options that are the best option for LISD for health insurance.
We have no recommendation yet.
No recommendation at this time. Thank you.
That's all the community reports. I'm going to make a motion to bring up item number 23. Dr. Rios?
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Second, I'm sorry. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Item number 23, discussion and possible action regarding request for a letter of support of non-opposition by Laredo Independent School District to the request of the Laredo World Free Trade Plaza of America Incorporated to a minor boundary modification of Foreign Trade Zone number 94 in Laredo, Texas, covering 1500 Logan Avenue, Laredo, Texas 78040.
I move for approval.
Second? I second it. I know the cities have participated, the county participated, our attorney has looked at all the language to this. So, any questions? If not, I call for all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
I abstain.
Please abstain, for the record. Thank you very much. Yep, go ahead.
Hello, good evening, LISD Board of Trustees. My name is Robert Caranco, and I am here on behalf of the Laredo World Free Trade Plaza. As a project manager, I would just like to thank you on behalf of my family and also our partner, Long Gal, for your approval of our project, and we thank you for your dedication, community service to LISD and the community of Laredo.
Thank you very much for everything you're doing for our community at such a young age. Very smart kid. Young man, not kid, sorry. He's an Aggie. Okay. Oh, let me rechange my vote then. No. And yeah, a graduate of Garcia Early College too, just for the record. A motion to bring up number 13.
Number 13.
Second.
The motion, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Item number 13, discussion and possible action to approve the final designs for the Performing Arts Center and the Laredo Independent School District Administration Building. We did meet during operations, and Mr. Velasquez, as well as our architects, discussed some of the changes and some of the ideas that came from the design, and we also took some feedback from the trustees at that time. Mr. Velasquez?
Mr. Velasquez, is there any changes or anything from the presentation that we made?
You know, we just made very minor modifications. We were asked to include like the office of the internal auditor into the design, so which we did. We've been just optimizing the space by adding storage areas for custodial equipment. Nothing really major other than, you know, that extra modification and the maximization of the space.
Does anybody want to go to the presentation? Because I know we've all seen it.
No,
The
just then, and
motion?
also the door, just the door going into the pack that we discussed, that it needed to be 2 doors rather than 1.
Oh yes, that has
That's
been
about it.
arranged.
For that.
Okay.
And they'll have a price at the next meeting, right?
In June, we're going to bring, you know, the GMP for approval, and Line Decker Construction is currently working with all the documentation that.
Motion to
I move for approval.
There's a motion, the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you very much, and thank you for your hard work and dedication. We heard the whole story last time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Frank. I wanted
Thank
to
you very
hear
much.
that.
Number 1, discussion, presentation, and student performance report. Dr. Rios?
Okay, good afternoon. Dr. Moreno did a great job in presenting the results for STAR grades 5 through 8, reading and math, as well as the benchmark results for algebra, biology, U.S. history, and of course, our curriculum writing initiative. What I would like to add is that, of course, this is only 5th and 8th grade. This week actually culminated in the last set of testings for grades 3, 4, 6, 7, as well as we had EOC last week. On top of that, we are very cautiously optimistic, and we do want to thank the board for all of the guidance and for just championing the success of our students as we move forward. Thank you very much for all of the guidance throughout the entire year, and we will not be receiving scores until June 11th. Around that area now, if we have seniors, we will be getting scores in the last week of June, just prior to graduation. So as soon as we get those, we'll be sharing them with you.
Thank you very much. Motion to approve the finance statements, donation, and tax report. There's a motion. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to approve. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the regular board meeting?
So moved.
There's a motion. There's a second. Dr. Moreno. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to accept 4A, 4B, 4C, and 4D, but in 4D, there is a correction. It's not 49,778. It's 61,778. The addition is $1,500 for our Christian middle school, from Mr. Valdez, I was gonna call you Dr. Valdez. From Dr. Moreno, $2,000 to Sanchez Ochoa and $1,500 to Martin High School, and $5,000 to the police department for T-shirts and uniforms for security officers, and $2,000 for J.C. Martin from Monica Garcia's. That's all together. Motion to accept
Second.
with the modifications made.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? That's already done. Motion to accept 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D, 5E, 5F, 5G, 5H, 5I, 5J, 5K, 5L. There's a motion by Monica, there's a second by Mr. Noyola. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Tax refund, Ms. Ayala, are you recommending 6A through 6R?
We recommend approval.
She is recommending, there's a motion by Mr. Noyola, second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to accept 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Second.
There is a motion, the second by Monica. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? 21.
Item number 21, discussion and possible action to direct the superintendent to provide the Board of Trustees with guidelines through policies and procedures on the acceptance and/or approval of school or individual field trips and in-school programs for district students and personnel.
Okay, as has been the tradition here at LISD, and what we're doing a very good job at, is setting up structure, efficiencies, and procedures to move along. In this particular area, I'm not sure we have anything in place, and I'd like to ask that you, Dr. Rios, please provide us with a process, policies and procedures, processes, if there is any, if you can recommend any for the upcoming school year. Obviously, it's going to be more difficult to find out where we stand on all of this for the past years. So we'd like to see if we can set up something for the following years. The way I personally want to see a breakdown on is that on a school by school basis, what is their budget on such activities? And if so, if we can go back, if we can find out where and what it went. I think this is the only accounting line item that we don't have any any reporting on throughout the year. And I want to see if we can get something like that. And the reason I'm saying that is because as we move forward, we'd like to keep tabs and see where we stand. So, I mean, number one, if there's no policies and procedures for this, maybe you can recommend something that we can do about that. Number two, if there's a breakdown on school by school basis of what we're doing that are scheduled at the beginning of the year, as most schools have, we can. I want to see that number, and then if there's anything that moves the needle throughout the year that says, okay, there's an unscheduled trip, then we can have that. This is in no way a way to eliminate anything that we have. What it is just a structured way of learning, and for us up here to see the accounting processes about how we spend monies at a school by school level. The second part of that is that it provides us also with a guideline of what we're doing. So, as I said, for the past 7 years, we've had a structured system for almost everything that we do here, and I think that's the only one that we haven't really kept our any tabs on. So, by saying that is, what we're trying to do, obviously, as a school board, or me personally, is to try and figure out where everything is allocated to, and then anything that we can do next year for this, then we can go ahead and process it, look at it, and figure it out. And it just gives us one more item that we can certainly see where everything is moving and what direction it's moving to.
I just, in my comment, I think I think to know of a number, I don't think that's a problem. I think that putting a policy or procedure in place, I think it's micromanaging. I think this is a decision based by principals and by the superintendent, and it's always been. That's why there's never been any kind of procedure, because it's something that benefits our community. So I think, I understand Mr. Garza's coming. I like to see how much we spent on it, and I think that that's a valid point. To putting procedures and putting a policy and procedures in place, I think it's micromanaging.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah,
if that's fair.
It should come from you.
If you, like I said, this isn't gonna be a decision by the board, but it's gonna be a decision by Dr. Rios.
Right.
What I want her to do is that if she has anything in place that she can manage it, then that's her deal. To quote you, Dr. Rios, and I thought it was a great word that you used, this is an ambassadorship that we have. And really, at the end, I think in our committee meeting, I said, I just want to know the cost of that ambassadorship.
And I have a question. Are these unscheduled trips or individual field trips that are mentioned here in this agenda item, are they affecting our students academically or something?
We don't know. I mean, at least I don't know.
Okay,
and so by
Can you bring that back, Dr. Rios, when you bring back any type of recommendation to see if we're having any type of impact, or if this is something that is helping our students, or is it something that's not helping our students? You know, because I think academically, you know, I don't see that it's affecting
I
them.
think I think even all of us on the board here, I think it's not, I think it's a good tool for the school district. That's not the issue. I think the issue that we want to know, or Mr. Garza wants to know, and I think I agree with it, is, you know what, just know what we do spend on it. Because I know that sometimes principals don't have the money to spend anymore, because last year we raised the price of buses, but we didn't give any principals more money.
Yes.
So I know that you have an account that you think if it's worthy enough to represent as ambassadors to LISD, out of your, because you do have money, you have discretion, and you've turned some down, and you just took what's important, and you're able to do that. And I think that's very good of you, very nice of you. I just think that if we did this, we need to put more money into that account and let the principals make the decision where they want their kids to go. Mr. Valdez?
I think there's, go ahead.
Okay. This is specifically the type of activity that should be discussed by a committee. Superintendent should be directed to provide the specific information so that the board can discuss this. There's more to this than what has been, shall we say, rumored into these issues, okay? As an example, I discussed some time back the ROTC program, where we need to have different kinds of activities for the young people. Maybe take them to San Antonio, get them rides in the airplane so they can see. In other words, what is there right now as far as field trips, okay? Now, we don't know. At least, we're not saying they're bad, okay? But there are different field trips out there that have not been incorporated into a policy. Now, this sounds a little bit strange, but I remember a couple of years back, we were operating a multi-million-dollar program without any policies at all whatsoever. I'm the one that wrote them for a little school out there, okay? And so things were happening out there. I know when we get all these reports and everything is so nice and so beautiful, makes you wonder what we're doing here. No, there are some problems that we can discuss and provide some leadership into. In a case like this, I think we need to know, for example, what kind of field trips are out there. No, just a minute. In other words, it's a rhetorical question. I'm not asking for an answer, ¿me entiendes? I'm saying that we need to know that. You may know, I don't know, okay? And we may have ideas as to what additional field trips can be included. See, we don't know what that is. In the curriculum that we have right now, how do field trips fit into it? Because most of those, I was discussing that with some other staff, the type of activities that could be implemented, but they're not. Now, we can discuss this thing, as we say, a little bit under the rug, but see, there are a lot of field trips that are not initiated by our board or our staff, okay, but somebody else. You will have this, y se acabó. And we need to set some policies like that. They will respect those policies, but we need to have them. Now, if there are policies right now, or in the curriculum that we have right now, if this is included where it says that principals have this authority, I can bet you one of those dollar bills, you know, in coin, that a lot of principals don't know this. But then we go into the money situation also, okay? There are times when we are asked to provide from the discretionary monies funds that should be coming from the regular fund. And I've done a little bit of research. There's a lot of money that's being left over every year. Well, we need to know these things, not because we're going to overspend or anything, but this is, and then we bring a report to the board. But to simply direct the superintendent, go out there and provide us policies or provide us this and provide us that, she doesn't know exactly what the board wants. So a good discussion, you know, what type of activities can we have out there? Should we only take them to the ice arena every year? You know, there are other things here.
Okay.
You're not micromanaging. Micromanaging is giving orders. You're making policy.
That's your opinion to micromanage.
No, it's not my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
I can prove it. I got a little master's degree, okay?
That's good.
And 38 years of administration, too.
Good.
And let me tell you.
I have an attorney over there.
Well, yeah, but this is only me. Micromanaging is managing.
Okay.
We're not managing anything. When you manage, you give orders and you receive commands, okay?
Right.
This is not what we're doing. We're making policy here.
Okay.
Okay? And
Let me
I'm
add-
just saying
Thank you
that
very
here is an activity that should be discussed by a committee.
Right.
Okay, let me tell you this. Those reports are nice, okay? They could have been provided only in written form.
Not anymore, though. If you actually remember the law remember the workshop we had to add that on. Our attorney told us they came in from TA, that's part of administration. So we're following the rules that the state is telling us to do. I know you tell us not to, but it's your, I understand that,
Well-
but we're gonna follow policies that are mandated by the state.
This
And
might-
that's one that's mandated by the state.
State
This might be an opportunity to look at
Me
regulations.
callé toda la junta. Déjame quebrar.
Okay, go
Let me
ahead.
tell you,
Finish
the
up.
state mandates that we should provide as a board, every principal out there with all the necessary resources.
We do.
We don't do that.
To our ability,
We're
yes, we
supposed
do.
no, we got a little bank over there full of money. Let me tell you, if we are going to follow what the state says, we will have a very successful program, but we don't. Okay?
We don't want to get into the point that we have to go and borrow money to pay our payroll. That's happened in the past under administration prior
I'm
to
talking
this.
about the present.
Okay, but that's why we have the money, because we protect the money and use it the way we should use it. If you give somebody an open check, they're gonna spend it all over the place. Make sure we're setting up our teachers to succeed.
Are you
not
saying
to
that
fail.
money should be used to earn interest? I think it should be used to provide resources to the staff and our children.
Well, I agree with you, and we try to do as much as we can. Dr.
I just
Moreno?
want to add, there's such a thing as regulations, and regulations are administrative procedures.
Right.
And those are created and done and approved by administration themselves. But having an opportunity to see some of those regulations might help in finding out what you're trying to find out. Just so long as you recognize that regulations are created and done and approved by administration, not by us. Ours are policies, and the policies.
And procedures.
Well,
If it's
Just
a
one word, and
policy, it would
I'll be
appear
quiet,
in
okay?
a different location.
Thank you. No,
Bueno,
you don't have
Madam
to be quiet.
Let me tell you this.
opinions are always well
Everybody is listening right now to how reluctant we are to discuss issues, okay?
They're not.
Oh, yes, they're listening. And let me tell you, it's also going out on TV,
That's good.
okay?
That's
Thank
good.
you.
And we're just letting the public know that we're transparent, and this board will continue to be transparent.
Okay, just very briefly, all trips that are scheduled first of all, have to meet certain measures. And the first measure that is included in funding has to be through a campus improvement plan. That trip or that activity has to be tied, if it involves funding, it has to be tied to a campus improvement plan that every single campus is required by the state to create. Those activities have to have a lesson plan, and they have to be able to dictate what student expectations that trip. As an example, students are going to be going, I believe it's either Milton or Ryan, they were going to go to San Antonio.
Ryan.
And they're going to go for what purpose? The Alamo, because it does this and this and this and this. They're going to the water plant. Why? Because it's this particular student expectation. There are field trips in town that our students take. even those trips that are in town also have to have a lesson plan. So before we tell any campus, you are allowed to go, and I will tell you that the secondary director, the elementary director, Dr. Cruz, those have to be approved, and they even go through federal programs. If it is something that requires funding, they have to meet that first measure. The unscheduled trips that Mr. Garza is talking about, by the time an unscheduled trip happens, it's very difficult. I'll give you a good example. Remember those students that were saying we're going to go to the solo and ensemble? That's going to happen in June. Well, that's an unscheduled trip, so to speak, because those kids had to have made it, first of all, at region for them to be able to go to state. So those trips, they're in my funding because we asked last year, if you remember, Mr. Garcia, right? We asked for more additional funding. I do want to tell you that based on the basic allotment increase that the legislature is looking at, every single school is going to get a hefty sum of monies based, if you so approve the board, if the board so approves the budget, that recommendation is coming from us. We've already been looking at it. Every single campus is going to get additional funding.
And I do want to make the point that because, you know what Mr. Valdez brought up, that our campus need more money is why we say we need to put more money in there. We do listen.
Because it's taken 8 years or so before that allotment was increased. And so that allotment is going to now be increased so that schools can use it. But again, there's parameters to being able to use that money. And those parameters are going to be okay. If you are going to plan an extra field trip in town or out of town, then you can start allocating it from those extra funds. In addition to that, we are good ambassadors for our district as well as every campus. So sometimes you're going to get a request from the community for the mariachi, for ROTC, for band, orchestra.
Even for students, I know that they just want you to guide, to what do they call it? To shadow the judges or shadow this. That's a good
And
program
those
for
are
our
activities,
students.
again,
Sometimes it's not-
even if we do the shadowing, we have to ask ourselves before they do the shadowing, what student expectations in social studies do they meet? So there are procedures, and there are, because they're regulations. They're not written in policy because that's not a policy. That is a way to be able to address the curriculum piece. Is there something else that we can do to improve? Yes, we can, but I will also tell you that if you are going to want a funding report, then we're going to have to ask IT to develop a schedule, a program to be able to filter which trips were scheduled and which were not. And I will tell you that as a district,
I have a method already for that. I mean, I broke it down last night. And all I want is, if you're going to have Ryan Elementary School, this is their budget for field trips at the beginning of the year. Boom, this is it. This is how much the principal's budget is right here.
Right.
This is how much they're going to spend. The next one is unscheduled trips throughout the year. And then you put that.
But you won't know that until the end of the year.
That's right. At the end of the year, we're going to have school by school breakdown of everything we have.
And I'm not saying that it can't be done.
All the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All I want to know is if that unscheduled trip is there, I don't have a problem. You can say yes to whatever they want. It's their discretion. All I'm saying is that if Ryan Elementary School has 20 unscheduled trips throughout the year, how much did that cost
But this
you?
reporting is going to help us how?
Well, we're going to find out, and it's going to open the door for them because we get to evaluate our superintendent. And if that superintendent is saying we're going to need more money for these unscheduled trips, then we're going to find out why and why not. That we can't tell her what to do with those trips. They can do whatever they want. But if they come back to us and say we need to add more money, I'm saying we're adding funding, like she said right now. We're adding funding to every school.
Yes.
And I'm questioning, why are we adding funding? Which is not a bad question. There's not in a negative tone. It says, why are we adding? They are. Are they going to have 10 more, 15 more field trips to do it? I just want to find out what for. Because it's part of our job to be transparent as far as that's concerned.
Yes, absolutely. And I agree. I'm not saying that the funding is only for transportation. The funding is going to be for any kind of resource that the school needs that can be tied back to curriculum.
But
And
how
that's
is
what's
that
gonna happen.
evaluation going to go back to the superintendent when it's a discretion of the principal to release the students for unscheduled trips? How does it come back to her, being her evaluation? I don't get it.
But it really doesn't.
Well, I think that it's a valid point that Mr. Garza is bringing up. And I think that the concern should be not only the money that we're spending, but also as far as the students. It's good to have field trips. It's good that they're tied to the curriculum. However, we need to make sure that there's a certain of days that they had to be in the classroom, because those classroom days are the ones who are going to help them pass the state exams. Now, we had to remember that we need to balance that with, we're trying to teach these students academics, but we're also trying to raise good citizens. So that's where the field trips come into play. So I think we need to just make sure
That's where I was at.
that we have a balance.
And my understanding is that the students don't either, if there's a test or anything else, they're not pulled out. They don't participate in that particular trip with band or mariachis. Field trips are planned. That's a planned thing.
Planned.
The ones the ones that are bringing up a red flag are the extra ones, and those are the ones that I know that sometimes that whoever asks for the bands or with mariachis or whatever the situation is, if they have class or they have something on, they're not released. It's the smaller group that go, because as you said, Mr. Garza's concern is they need to be in class, which we understand that. But I don't think that there's a procedure or a policy in place to manage that, because I don't think it's our thing to manage. I think it's something that as a district, we just got to be open to that and make sure that you make the right decision. But I like to see what's the price? What do we pay for that? Mr. last thoughts on this.
I don't think that anybody has even hinted that we would be managing field trips. But we do have the right to make policy saying, okay, you people can select whatever field trips you want.
They already have that.
No, there are instances. Okay, we can hire them all you want to, but there are instances, for example, in 2 years back or 3 years back, when we had a board member here with close relations to the Little Theater, okay, we used to take our kids to TAMIU so they could listen to a class in English, okay? Cost us $15,000, all right? And things like that, ¿me entiendes? If you plan them through the year, you say, okay, we're going to have 2 trips over there, fine, you plan them. I would plan bringing the actors over here. But still, those are the things, you say, how did this happen? I could bring the old, some parents told me, they didn't. Okay, I figured it out. But let me tell you, all I'm saying is exactly what we're doing right now. We're discussing this. And you rarely discuss these things. Something good is going to come out of this.
Yes.
Okay? And remember, we're not going to manage anything, but we do make policies, as long as we don't conflict with what the state wants on the guided, training that they give our kids. But coming back to this, we still haven't heard today what the policies are, We said that they need to be funded, but do principals submit, for example, annually a plan?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that'd be great. I'd like to see what they submit. Maybe they need a little bit of information, hinting as to other trips like the one I mentioned about ROTC. What's wrong with that? And there are other things.
But that has to be submitted to the principals.
That's in the campus improvement plan.
That's what I'm saying. Those policies in place. That of the TAMIU, that's still happening. That's actually happening through the English classes, because they're reading the stories, they're going over there, they're performing the stories. It's an English thing that's being paid by DD Chad.
At that cost, we could have made a film. Let me tell you.
No.
You
need to understand more of the academics and how it's helped. How it's helped. Talk to English teachers about that program, but all of that's already covered. Just we want to see the numbers
that's why I kept it, and I agree with what everybody's saying on this, and this is what it creates. Right. So, that's why I wanted a simplified version of this particular agenda item, is that I just wanted to break down.
I will ask Mr. Manoa and whoever else works with IT so that they can develop a way to filter. But I will tell you that right now every school has at least one field trip, correct? They have only one at the end of the year. Now they may have something small that's during the school year, but we are very cautious about letting kids go out. And from the academic side, anytime that we provide students with experiences, they are able to read about it and write it. And let me tell you, the more experiences that they have, even enabled to, just by going to the water plant here, honestly and truly, students get a chance, by visiting TAMIU or LC, they get a chance to have that as part of their experiences that they use in their writing and in their reading. And that may or may not always be planned. We do get invitations, and you all know about some of those invitations. If that invitation is considered through student services or through curriculum and instruction or through me, the very first thing that I ask is, how is that tied to the curriculum? And I do ask, how much is it going to cost the school district? Getting back to the allotment, you'll see that at our budget, but we'll make a report that will tell you how much it costs. But I also want to be able to say that if you are balancing the cost with the experience, those things work together to create a student that's well-rounded.
I mean, like I said, that's going to be on your, because we get to evaluate you. You make that decision to make sure that that's happening. That's part of your management that we can't intervene on. That's what I'm telling you. This is micromanaging from my end. All I want to see is the number cost, because that's a decision this board makes during budget time. When we're looking for monies for other things that are just as effective, and we're going to be able to say, we're like we do with everything. We're spending too much money here, so we got to take it out and put it over here. That's all I'm doing.
Absolutely.
But at the end, that's the only reporting that I've figured over the last however many years. That's the only thing we don't have that we're told. We're given a budget for the AD's office for fixed assets. For everybody else, we're given a budget, but we don't get to see that particular one. And that's just one more little thing that we can put, you know, that feather in our hat that says we're looking at that also. So that's part of the transparency aspect of it from our end, that we're keeping tabs on every little thing that goes on out there.
And so this will be a baseline report, obviously,
It's like-
because
no, but
we
it's-
can't compare it back to last year, because I will tell you
No,
this much.
because we don't, it was hard enough for me to get this right here.
Yes.
So I'm saying, moving forward, we need to be prepared for something like that, because, again, I am thinking that as much of money as we're thinking that the state is going to give us, I really don't. The way I'm built is that I don't want to count on anybody. We want to survive with what we have.
Exactly.
And if we're going to get money from the state, great, thank you. But if we don't, we need to figure out what we have and how we're going to do it. So we need to know that, and one of the things I'm very proud of this board and this administration is that, man, we're not cheap with anything that we do, but we sure know how to stretch a penny. And that's why we need to know where everything is going. If we don't have that aspect of our accountability process, then we don't know, you know, what that's all about. And that's what I'm telling you. All I wanted to do, a very generic statement would be, on a per school basis, what's their budget and what they use. At the beginning of the year, it's already planned. So I'm assuming that they have an idea what it's going to cost. And then we have another one that distinguishes that. If this wasn't going to happen today, the process was going to go through an audit. And that's just going to take way, way longer to do. And so I'm just saying,
Well, it
whatever
also
we're
takes
doing-
away from the time from instruction and from the people who are leading that instruction. I will tell you that I will ask each of the schools to start taking stock of which trips they already have.
they have
That's
to,
in
don't
there. Well, they do.
No, that's what I'm
I'm
saying,
just
is so
saying,
just
in their
report
campus
it.
improvement plan, if we are concerned about the unscheduled, we'll
can they
tell them
also
to
add
keep a list of unscheduled.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not concerned so much about the unscheduled as I am the cost of the unscheduled.
Right.
So the unscheduled, it's up to them. They decide whether or not it fits those guidelines that you just made.
Just
Dr.
Well, let's
Ms.
get into-
Ayala, these numbers on trips and all that's in our budget. If you actually look at your budget in the principal account, there's money already set for field trips and things like that in all categories.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
a
if you actually go into your thing and actually read your numbers, that's already been done.
Yeah.
We're not creating the wheel again. All those numbers that you're asking about are in there.
Yeah.
And if you
That's what
look
I'm
at the
saying.
superintendent's account, it's there where we approve, this is how much she has as
If we
money to
pull it
that.
out, that's why the process and the accountability
Well,
process.
it's always been there.
We do it for every department. We pull it out and we analyze it, right? You come to us and say, we're spending so much here. And then we're saying, well, and the reason, I mean, the biggest thing that prompted me to do this is that I didn't want transportation to constantly be asking us for money when we know Hey, why is this asking,
That's
this guy
not the
asking
reason
us,
they ask
asking
for
us for
money.
money? Why is he asking us for more money? And then we have the audacity to question him, why are you asking for more money? And he's going, well, they're asking more of my services. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out, why are they asking you for more of your services? And so we break it down and we go down the line. And so we're pinpointing, this is not the only problem that, and not even a problem, but this is the only reporting that we don't do. We'd love for Maggie and Coach Barrera to be asking for more money. That means we're winning. That means we're going to state, we're going somewhere else when it's somebody fine arts or somebody wants to go. I don't have a problem with any of that. My problem is that we do not have one item, you know, and it, like Mr. Garcia just said, it's probably in there already.
It is.
All we do is dig it out. And all I want to know, after all of this is said and done, is that this is how much we're spending on this. But now we get to say after next year, why do you want more money for field trips? Why do you know, you used to spend X dollars here 5 years ago. Now you want 3 times as much this year. And so we get to analyze that as part of our budget process.
I would go far enough to say you could probably look at your budget for the last 5 years and tell you this is how much we had for field trips the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Because it's been in our numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that, that's fine.
We do have a line item specifically for student travel. As a matter of fact, you did get a report last time that you met, and that we met, and it is by program intent code. So there you would see some information. By program intent, by the various programs.
Yeah.
So
But
your travel
I
line
will
item
also
should be
tell you
there.
that Flor used a very good term, site-based decision-making. At the very, very beginning, when money is allotted to every campus, their SPDM committee decides this is, and Ms. Cortez is out there shaking her head yes, because they are the ones that decide how they want to spend that money and which trips they're going to take. 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. I don't know about 1st and 2nd. I guess you could tell me a little bit more. It might be something in town, but I will tell you that there is already a decision that's made by, not us, by the campus, which is what they're supposed to do.
Which again, I'm not questioning the decision.
No,
as to
it's
why
the amount of money.
It's just the amount, that's all I want. I mean, it's, and if they could print it out, maybe it could just be in my Friday packet, if it's that simple to decipher and pull it out. That's all I want, but I'm not saying
by campus.
anything else, because we're not there yet.
I'm going to the next subject.
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
And this is
Mr. Valdez will have the last comment.
for our counsel, our legal counsel. So my question is this part of the evaluation for our superintendent?
I guess you can say that overall, maybe a small
No,
component.
because it doesn't, it just, it's an overall thing, right?
I don't get it. Why would it be?
You have the last word.
The last word.
Unless you say something more. Yes, sir.
Now, I think that we can. Yes, sir. Thank you. We can continue discussing problems and examples and what have you, but board members know that using discretionary monies, and somebody always hinges on them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, using discretionary monies for field trips, okay? I know because I do that, all right? Now, if they're allocated monies, why would they do that? That's something we need to discuss in a good manner, because discretionary monies are all used for the schools, for the students, okay? Also, the use of discretionary monies for equipment. I believe all equipment should be paid through the regular budget. When you look at those figures that I was provided, you will see that there are sufficient resources for that, especially at one-time purchases, capital and so on. But we need to discuss these things because staff, and I don't blame them. I know about that too, just like you. Staff will try to do what they've got right now and conserve as much as possible, okay? But that somehow is not working. Now, I have a different view of the resources that we have than you do. Okay, I was here when we had $200,000 in fund balance.
Right.
And we discussed this thoroughly. We didn't go broke. And remember, fund balance is not for the schools to operate when there's no money, because there's a little theory used that we needed these 3 months of operations, you know, in reserve. I always ask the question, what happens on the 4th month? Entiende? In other words, if you don't have resources coming in, you're going to go down the drain. Most of the money was used because your cash flow was a little bit low, okay? Or you had extraordinary expenditure that had to be made, which were in the benefit of the district. But they were never, reserve monies or fund balance monies were never meant to fund a district when monies ran out. And yet that's a theory that is promoted somehow. But again, when you have the millions that we have, okay, and we have been spending them, through the year you will see that we transfer a little bit of here, a little bit of there, and I still have to look a little bit closer at the money that, the figures that were presented to me by Ms. Ayala and staff. Every year we allocate a certain amount of money, but we don't spend it. So every year we have some money left over, okay? Which is, you know, sound administration as far as I'm concerned. But we do have some resources that can be applied to many of these things. Because what's the use of giving us allocating $75,000 or discretionary, you know, monies to fund those projects that are not a regular part of the school district operation, and they're used to pay for regular operations, like equipment, chairs, desks, and so on, computers, hombre. You know, so what's the use of allocating the money? And the need is so great out there, it is so great, and the resources exist right now, without all these promises of money's coming in. The resources exist right now where we can address this. There was a time, and I've got a copy of the letter, ya nomás déjame acabar con esta, when this district used to allocate $150 per classroom to purchase school supplies. We don't do that anymore. Otra cosa, no, we don't.
Yeah, we do. A lot of things you're bringing up, if you look at your
Well,
budget,
you do it. We
it's there. And one thing, because I'm going to cut
Well,
it.
yeah.
One thing, but I am going to cut it real quick. But I'll tell you one thing, and I hope you support it. We're trying to allocate between $6 to $8 million for one-time expenditures because we listen to you that everybody's asking for. So hoping that comes to us, that your board supporting that because that's what our people are asking for. So
Not
I'll
enough.
leave it as that.
It's not enough.
Number 22.
Okay.
Well, so we don't have to have action.
There's no action, just bring those numbers. Yes, thank you.
And we are paying attention, and we'll get that for you. Thank you. Item number 22, discussion and possible action to approve the establishment of the J.W. Nixon High School Business, Industry, and Public Services Early College Academy for 2019-2020 school year.
So move.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Thank you. I know we've been discussing, but the last time they said they already had done this and we hadn't. Thank you for listening to the
It's been
president.
since September, yes, you're right.
Communication. Veronica? Communication, before you go into communication, Dr. Moreno?
Yes. I just handed Mr. Garcia a letter of resignation. It is with much thought that I submit my letter of resignation from the Laredo Independent School District Board of Trustees. Nearly 10 years ago, I was elected with the campaign slogan, "Bring the Pride Back." My colleagues and I have worked as a team, and the results have been an increase in excellence in academic performance, in our fine arts programs, in our athletic programs, and pride in our college readiness that calls for an early college program at each of our high schools. I am proud of the 44 years that I spent as an educator and the additional 9 years that I dedicated to the LISD School Board. Family responsibilities have made it necessary for me to take this step. I want to thank all the LISD board members, present, past, that I have worked with. All have been extremely dedicated to the students, the parents, the employees, and the LISD community. To the LISD employees, you are the very best. Thank you. Lastly, to the LISD students and parents, continue your quest for perfection and master level attainment. You deserve it. I am so proud of my LISD family.
And she will be sitting with us until we make a decision on which way we're going to go with this. So she resigned today, but she will be with us for graduation and until her predecessor is appointed or elected or whatever the situation is, but that'll be at our next meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Moreno. Tomorrow morning, the LISD Board of Trustees is dedicating the LISD Police Department in honor of Webb County Constable Rudy Rodriguez. The ceremony is at 10 a.m., followed by refreshments sponsored by La Posada. We have a special call meeting on Tuesday, May the 21st at 5:30 p.m. here in the Amber Yuri Boardroom. The AAA Awards will be presented on Wednesday, May the 22nd at 6 p.m. in the Lilian Guadalupe Martinez Fine Arts Center at Laredo College in the auditorium. The LISD Board of Trustees Annual Memorial Day Observance is scheduled for Thursday, May the 23rd at 9 a.m. at the Memorial Middle School Gym. Our guest speaker this year is Major General Patrick Hamilton. The Hector J. Garcia Early College High School graduation is scheduled for Friday, May the 24th at 6 p.m. in the TAMIU Gym. And there will be no classes for LISD students on Memorial Day, which is Monday, May 27th. However, there will be professional development for staff on Memorial Day. And we also have a job fair on Memorial Day from 2 to 6 p.m. at the new gym at Lamar Middle School. We have graduation ceremonies for Martin, Nixon, and Cigarroa High School on Thursday, May the 30th at the Sames Auto Arena. Martin High School goes first at 10 a.m., and I understand we have 3 veterans graduating with the class of 2019. A former LISD board president is one of them. Nixon High School graduates at 2 p.m., and Cigarroa High School is at 6 p.m. And then we have board committee meetings scheduled starting on Monday, June the 3rd at 11 a.m. for the Student Services Committee meeting and the School Safety and Compliance Committee meeting at 5:30. On Tuesday, June the 4th, we have the CNI meeting at 9 a.m., followed by operations at 5:15. Business and support is scheduled right now for Thursday, June the 6th at 5:30. And that is all I have tonight for communications.
Thank you very much. And before I call for a motion to adjourn, I want to wish Dr. Cruz a happy birthday. Tomorrow is his birthday. I won't mention how old because he doesn't like that. But happy early birthday. The motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.